Don't say, "I love you," until you understand this. There's a moment in every person's life when those three words, "I love you," hover on the edge of their tongue. Sometimes they leap out quickly, careless and youthful. Other times they hang heavy in the air, unsaid, trembling with the weight of all they might mean. But what if I told you that saying, "I love you," before truly understanding it is like signing a contract you haven't read? What if "I love you" isn't just a romantic whisper, but a declaration of war against your own ego, your own comfort, your own escape routes? Because "I love you" isn't just words. It's a promise to show up, to stay when it's messy, to listen when it's hard. Love is action, not just a phrase. Say it with presence. Let me tell you a story. Part 1. The Illusion of the Easy Love. A young man named Daniel once believed love was a rush, the kind that comes in late-night texts, stolen glances, and promises made under moonlight. He met Eliza in the chaos of youth. A loud concert, pulsing lights, drinks that blurred the edges of the world. They danced like fire and gasoline, and within weeks they were saying, "I love you," like a secret code that meant, "Don't leave." But when life began to quiet down, when the dancing stopped and the music faded into real-life mornings and unwashed dishes and mood swings and misunderstandings, something cracked. Eliza cried one night, overwhelmed with grief from a loss she hadn't yet learned to speak about. Daniel, confused, told her she was overreacting. He didn't mean harm. He just didn't know how to be there. "I thought you loved me," she whispered. "I do," he said. But did he? Love, real love, is not just saying "I love you" when the sun is shining and everything is easy. Love is staying when the shadows fall. Love is sitting next to someone in their storm, not offering an umbrella but getting wet with them. Part 2. The Silent Weight of Presence. Years later, Daniel met someone else. Her name was Ruth. She didn't say "I love you" quickly. She watched. She listened. She asked questions that made him pause, really pause, and think. When he finally said, "I think I love you," she didn't say it back. "Not yet." "Do you?" she asked softly. "Then show me." He was startled. Wasn't this the moment she was supposed to melt into him? Kiss him? Wrap it up with a pretty bow? But she just looked at him and waited. In that silence, something deeper was born. He began to see that love wasn't the rush, it was the root. Not the fire, but the soil. And not the high, but the home. Ruth never said, "I love you," until Daniel proved, not just in words, but in presence, in patience, in effort, that he meant it. And when she finally said it, she said it while sitting beside him on a hospital bench, his hand in hers after his father had died. Her "I love you" wasn't comfort. It was an offering. A vow. Part 3. The Storm-Tested Heart. Love that's only spoken in light crumbles in the dark. It's easy to say "I love you" in the honeymoon phase, when there are no bills, no conflicts, no fears. But what about when your partner loses a job and spirals into self-doubt? What about when grief visits your doorstep? What about when the two of you disagree so deeply that silence feels like the only language left? A woman named Marla once shared how her husband didn't say "I love you" every day. But he said it every time he filled her car with gas before she left on a trip. Every time he rubbed her back after a long shift. Every time he stood beside her in silence when her anxiety made words impossible. Love is not a phrase. Love is a habit. It's calling even when you have nothing to say. It's asking, "Did you eat?" when you can't fix the bigger problems. It's arguing without disrespect. It's staying when the story takes a dark turn. Part 4. Love is listening. There's a kind of love that doesn't speak over pain. It listens. Not just with ears, but with heart, with presence. Listening is a sacred form of love. Have you ever had someone look into your eyes and really listen, not waiting to respond, not trying to fix you, not judging? Just witnessing? That's love. There was a couple married 43 years. People always ask them, "What's your secret?" And the wife, a soft-spoken woman named Teresa, always said the same thing. "He never tried to silence me." even when I was messy, even when I didn't make sense. 'Cause love is not about being understood perfectly, it's about being safe enough to be misunderstood while still being held. Part 5. Say it with presence. There's a reason why some people say I love you every day but their partners still feel lonely. 'Cause it's not the words, it's the presence. You can say I love you and still ignore someone. You can say I love you and still make them feel unseen. You can say I love you and walk away when it's inconvenient. Presence is love's true name. To sit with someone in their silence, in their storm, in their joy, that's love. Not texting during dinner. Not scrolling while they talk. Not dismissing their pain with advice. Presence means saying, I see you. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Part 6. Love is unlearning. Sometimes love is unlearning. Unlearning control. Unlearning the fantasy that your partner will always meet your expectations. Unlearning the belief that love is easy. Real love is a decision. It's waking up and choosing the other person again, even when they're hard to love, even when they're struggling to love themselves. It's knowing their wounds and still choosing to hold them gently. It's not fixing them. It's walking beside them. It's not perfection, it's participation. Part 7. The Invisible Acts. There's a story of a father who woke up at 5 a.m. every day to prepare lunch for his wife, even though she never asked. She worked long hours at the hospital, and by the time she came home, she was too tired to talk. But she always found her lunchbox perfectly packed. One day she told a friend, he doesn't say I love you that often, but I've never doubted that he does. 'Cause love is often quiet. It's doing the dishes without being asked. It's checking in during a hard week. It's choosing forgiveness over resentment. It's holding someone while they cry, even when you don't know what to say. Part 8. The Patience of Love. Love is patient, not because it's weak, but because it understands the sacred timing of healing. A man named Elias once waited 2 years for his partner to be ready to fully trust again. She had been hurt deeply before him. Her heart had walls. Her past had ghosts. He didn't push. He stayed. He was consistent. And eventually her walls didn't fall, they opened. 'Cause love, when real, doesn't demand. It invites. Patience is proof. Part 9. Don't say it, show it. I love you is easy to say when you want something. It's easy to say when you're afraid of losing someone. But real love doesn't hide behind the phrase. It shows up. It's the friend who drives hours to be with you when your world falls apart. It's the sibling who remembers your triggers and avoids them without being asked. It's the partner who fights for you, not against you, even during conflict. Don't say I love you because you feel it in the moment. Say it because you live it daily. Part 10. Love is commitment, not convenience. Love isn't always butterflies. It's showing up when the butterflies are gone and all that's left is a choice. A choice to stay. To build. To forgive. To evolve. I love you means I'm here for the long haul, not just when you make me feel good, but when you challenge me, hurt me, stretch me. It's not a declaration of perfection. It's a declaration of intention. To love means to commit even when the road is uphill. Part 11. What it means to be all in. To love someone fully is to see their shadows and still choose them. Not to tolerate their flaws, but to honor the journey of becoming. To say I love you is to say, I will not run when you unravel. I will not punish you for being human. I will not abandon you when your wounds surface. And you mean it. Not because it's easy, but because you know they do the same for you. Part 12. The Final Test of Love. Here's the truth. Love is tested most not in grand gestures, but in small, hard moments. When you're tired and you choose kindness. When you're angry and you choose gentleness. When you're hurt and you choose understanding. That's when I love you becomes real. That's when it transcends words and becomes truth. Part 13. Say it with integrity. So before you say I love you, ask yourself, can I show up even when it's inconvenient? Can I listen without fixing? Can I stay when it's messy? Can I give without needing to receive? If you can't say yes to these questions, maybe wait. Because I love you is not a decoration. It's a commitment, a way of life. Say it with presence. Say it with integrity. Say it only when you mean to live it. 'Cause love is not just a word. It's what you do when the words fall silent. Part 14. When love isn't loud. Not all love is loud. Sometimes it doesn't come with fireworks or passionate speeches. Sometimes love shows up in silence, in the kind of quiet that feels safe, not empty. A woman named Hannah once described the moment she knew her partner loved her. It wasn't a date. It wasn't a kiss. It wasn't when he first said, "I love you." It was when he sat beside her in the hospital room, hour after hour, when she lost her mother. He didn't talk. He didn't try to fix her. He didn't panic at her tears. He just held her hand. And in that silence, she heard it louder than any words. "I'm here. You are not alone." That's love. Not noise. Not performance. Just unwavering presence. Part 15. Love is responsibility. We rarely talk about love as responsibility. We romanticize it. Dress it up in poetry and rose petals and Instagram captions. But love, the kind that endures, is deeply responsible. It's being accountable not just for how you feel, but how you treat the other person because of how you feel. It's knowing your moods affect them. Your words leave marks. Your absence has weight. Loving someone means becoming aware of your emotional footprint. It means managing your anger so it doesn't harm. It means healing your wounds so they don't become their burden. It means being gentle not just when you're happy, but especially when you're not. Love isn't about being perfect. It's about being conscious. Part 16. The loneliness inside love. Even in the best relationships, there will be moments of loneliness. Times when your partner can't reach you. Times when you can't even reach yourself. This is where the deeper love begins. Because real love doesn't panic in the face of emotional distance. It waits. It holds space. It says, "I see you pulling away, but I trust you'll return." One couple, Ben and Aisha, shared a practice they called the lighthouse. Whenever one of them needed space, emotional, mental, spiritual, they'd simply say, "I'm at sea." The other would reply, "I'll keep the light on." No demands. No accusations. Just trust. 'Cause that's what love does. It waits without punishment. It holds without gripping. Believes in return. Part 17. When I love you means letting go. Sometimes love means letting go. Not because you stopped caring, but because you started understanding. There was a woman named Clara who loved a man deeply, but he couldn't meet her where she was. He wanted her, yes, but he wasn't ready to love with the depth and presence she needed. He said, "I love you" often, but he didn't stay when it got hard. He avoided difficult conversations. He disappeared when she cried. And so one day, with tears in her eyes, she said, "I love you too, but I love myself enough to leave." 'Cause love, real love, also includes you. It is not self-erasure. It is not sacrifice to the point of silence. To love someone else, you must first refuse to abandon yourself. Part 18. The quiet rebuilding. After heartbreak, there comes a moment of rebuilding. Quiet season. A time when you relearn how to trust. How to open your heart again, piece by piece. This is where the most powerful love stories are born. Not the ones that begin with butterflies, but the ones that begin with healing. With two people who've seen darkness and choose light anyway. With two souls who've learned that love is not magic but a practice. With two hands extended, not to complete one another but to walk side by side. No illusions. Just truth. Just presence. just choice. Part 19. Love is forgiveness over and over. No one teaches us how often love requires forgiveness. Not just once. Over and over. Not just the big betrayals, but the little wounds, the sharp tones, the missed texts, the unintentional hurts. Love means learning to say, I forgive you for not knowing what I needed. I forgive you for loving me imperfectly. And perhaps most importantly, I forgive myself for the ways I failed to show up too. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's a kind of strength that says, I choose to move forward with you, not because it's easy, but because I believe in us. Part 20. The language of love is not always verbal. There are so many ways to say I love you without using the words. It's in the way you warm up their side of the bed, the way you remember their stories, the way you text when you know they're nervous, the way you slow down your pace to walk beside them, the way you stay calm when they lose it, not because you're unaffected, but because you know they need an anchor. There's a man who makes his wife coffee every morning, exactly the way she likes it without fail. She once said, I don't need him to say I love you every day. The coffee says it for him. Love has 1,000 dialects. Learn to speak theirs and teach them yours. Part 21. Love demands growth. If you love someone, you cannot stay the same. Love will ask you to grow. It will hold up a mirror and say, look here. This part of you needs healing. It will challenge your selfishness. It will ask for your ego to step down. It will require humility, the kind that admits, I don't know how to do this, but I want to learn. One couple began couples therapy after 3 years together, not because they were falling apart, but because they wanted to grow closer. That's love. Not waiting for things to break before fixing them, but tending to the relationship like a garden, watering it even on the sunny days. Love is the opposite of complacency. It is active. It is intentional. It is work, holy work. Part 22. When you are the one who needs love. We talk so much about loving others, we forget this. You need love too. Not just to give, but to receive. To be held. To be asked, how are you really? To be supported without having to earn it. To be seen. So many people fall into the trap of overgiving. They say I love you with their service, their sacrifice, their endless effort, but deep down they are empty. Love yourself enough to expect reciprocity. To say, I deserve a love that comes back to me. Not out of entitlement, but out of truth. You are not here just to pour. You are here to be filled too. Part 23. The lifelong learning. Love is not something you master. It is something you practice. Over years. Over decades. Through phases and changes and breakdowns and breakthroughs. A couple married for 57 years was asked, "What's the most important thing you've learned about love?" The husband replied, "That I still don't fully understand it." And his wife laughed and added, "But we never stop trying." That's the secret. Not getting it perfect, but continuing to learn each other. Over and over. To love someone is to be endlessly curious about them. Part 24. The legacy of love. When you truly love someone, your presence becomes part of their memory forever. Not just your touch. Not just your voice. But how you made them feel. Safe. Valued. Respected. Heard. That's the legacy of love. Not what you bought. Not the gifts or the dinners or the romantic getaways. But the feeling you left behind in their body long after you walked out of the room. The love that lingers. The warmth that echoes. That's the love that changes lives. That's the love that lasts. Part 25. So before you say it, before you say I love you, remember, you are making a promise. Not of perfection. Not of eternal happiness. But of showing up. Of choosing them. Of learning them. Of holding space for their truth. of growing, stumbling, getting back up together. So don't say it too soon. Don't say it to fill the silence. Don't say it because you want to hear it back. Say it only when you mean to be it. Because I love you isn't a confession. It's a commitment. A vow you make not with your lips but with your life.